Ooh, baby. This one is a shock to the system. That's for sure. Look at that number right there. 5 out of 10, according to PowerPix. And of course, I'm talking about the System Shock Remake. If you don't know anything about me, I think BioShock is one of the greatest games of all time. 10 out of 10, even though I think the last boss fight is pretty awful. We did it for our 2000 sub special for Platinum Hunters, so you bet your backside I will be delving into the game that is the progenitor to one of my favorite games of all time. That's System Shock. This is one of the first original immersive sim games, and it's been remade from the ground up. It is here on PlayStation after coming out last year in about August, I think it was, on PC. But as you can see, they're not letting us have the platinum easy. No siree. No, this might be the most difficult Shock game of them all. So we're gonna check out why that is in this video and see if I'm scared off or if I'm gonna try and do this one. But from top to bottom, we see number of missable trophies. I knew there was going to be a lot, but not all of them other than the story trophies. That's even worse than BioShock 2. That's even worse than BioShock 2. And it says here that you have to beat it on the hardest difficulty, which is pretty interesting, and we'll get into how it works. But it's essentially for the don't forget to salt the fries trophy, where you do need to beat it on the hardest difficulty. And it's not just... It's so much more than just beating it on a harder difficulty. We'll get into it when we get to that part of the guide. But let's talk. You start off here, complete the game on any difficulty first, and it recommends that you do level 1 for everything. Basically, you pick your level state from 1 to 3 in 4 different categories, and they are combat, where there will be more enemies that appear, spawn more frequently as you travel around, and they'll deal more damage, similar to the way BioShock is, where you bump it up to the harder difficulty, they just come more frequently, they do more damage. That's not the problem here. The next one is the problem. Mission. The mission category. You will have a 10-hour timer upon starting the game, and you must complete it in this time. And if you die without activating a restoration bay on that floor, you won't respawn. So basically, you have Vita Chambers again. And if you don't hit the Vita Chamber, you won't come back to that area. You'll come back to the last Vita Chamber you activated. And you have a 10-hour time limit on the hardest difficulty, on the 3. So yeah, maybe for your first playthrough where you just want to chill out, get collectibles, maybe you want to put it on 1 for this one, where there's no time limit apparently. But you also have the cyber category. It says here, if you die during cyber sequences, including the final one against Shodan, this is our big baddie Shodan, you will need to reload instead of just... Yeah, it says here, you will need to reload instead of just being kicked out of cyberspace. And there will be more puzzles in cyberspace. Thankfully, you have 10 plus manual saves. So that's good. You can just pop back to the manual save. But when you're on a timer of 10 hours, that's not good. Yeah, you don't want to be messing around in there. You want to get to the point and finish it. So maybe, yeah, put that one on 1. So far we're 1-1-1 for the first playthrough. Then you have puzzle, where you have circuit and wire panel puzzles. Will be harder and include more mechanics to solve. It reminds me of the pipe puzzles. I'm pretty sure they're kind of like that, essentially. And they'll be harder if you put it on 3. So first playthrough, definitely 1-1-1, because on that playthrough you're going to want to also go for the collectibles. And when you check the collectible guide that is here with PowerPix, it says here that it has 361 collectibles. Oh yeah, finding 361 collectibles in 10 hours. I mean, if you want, you can try. I don't know if you'll bear fruit. I don't think so. Unless you really, really know this game inside and out. Maybe there's somebody out there who can do it in one playthrough. Or do it after they've done it the first time. Just to brag rights, I guess. But you got audio logs. If you think BioShock was the first one to have audio logs, you're wrong. You have data sticks, camera, CPU notes, hardware attachments, weapons, mod kits, scullies, cyberspaces, and Cortex Reavers. Whole bunch of collectibles in here. And the thing about this game that you need to know, well, a couple things. First off, this game doesn't play like traditional games. It doesn't even play like BioShock, really. This game, it doesn't have objectives for you to go to. It doesn't have waypoint markers, and it's a ground up remake of the original, so they didn't really modify it all that much. So the chances of getting lost in this game is very, very high. The way you find out what to do is through the audio logs and finding them, and then they will give you hints on where to go next. So I still don't know how to feel about that. I'm probably going to have a very, very good guide while playing this game. I wish they kind of modernized it a little bit, but it's just one thing to note. The other thing is this game has a ton of point of no returns, which makes a lot of these trophies missable. Pretty much all of them except story are missable because you either make a save before the point of no return, and then you can go back if you need to. Otherwise, you hit the point of no return with no extra save, well, you're screwed. And the other thing you need to know is there's multiple points of no returns. So you get to another part, there's another point of no return, so you can't go back to the part you were just at. Make sure you put a save there. They actually have it on screen right now. You can take a look if you need to. Not a lot of context, so it's not really spoilerish. But there's 3 point of no returns. So this game is already hard enough playing it. It's going to challenge you. And then you have the 3-3-3-3 difficulty I mentioned earlier with the 4 categories here. You're on a 10-hour timer. You have harder combat. You have harder puzzles, harder cyberspace sequences to finish. On top of that, you have to remember where to go, because on a 10-hour timer, you really can't dilly-dally. And without objectives, it's dicey. However, it does say here that with a efficient route, you can finish this game with more than 5 hours to spare. So if you're using a guide and you know where you're going, then 5 hours is nice. It's like half the amount. So, whew. Or else this would have been much tougher. I assumed the rating would have been like 7, 8 out of 10, maybe. 5 hours is a big cushion. Of course, you do have to be good at the game and also be good at finishing what you need to do to get to the next area and finishing those objectives. So yeah, that's System Shock Remake. I am all in on this game because of how much I love the Shock games. I love the first BioShock game. Infinite is amazing. 2, not so much, I'll admit, but I did I did have a good time with it. I will say that. And Minerva's Den was really good. But I want to go back to the roots. I have to do this. I need to. I need to complete this, even though how obtuse this game is going to be and how much of a pain this Platinum trophy is going to be. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys are up for the challenge on this one. Let me know if you are going to do it. I'm not going to go through the trophies themselves because there are a lot of spoiler stuff down the list I was looking. See, like, I don't want to spoil it for you. If you follow this guide, you'll be able to do it. I hope I'm able to do it. Honestly, I don't know, but we'll find out. Let me know if you're going to take it on. And I hope all your trophy hunting expeditions against a rogue AI go incredibly well, even on 3-3-3-3 difficulty. And peace out.